of all these chakras is here. The heart chakra, the heart vortex, I'll call it, in the center of the chest. And this is the heart that I'm talking about when I refer to the power of the heart. Where we interact with reality and how we process information dictates everything in terms of our psychology, in terms of our perceptions. So people say, what does your heart say? And they say, what does your head tell you? Because they're acknowledging, because it's painfully true, that the way the head processes information thus sees reality, and the way the heart does is very, very different. There's another one, of course. What does your gut say? Down here in the emotional chakra area. And the difference between perceptual domination by the heart and by the brain is very, very different. For instance, the heart knows. Why? Because it's connecting you to levels of awareness outside of this perceptually manipulated world of humanity to higher, more expanded levels of consciousness that do know. This is why you see the body language when people have an intuitive knowing, and you watch where their hands go. I just know, I just know it. Where do they go when they're thinking and their head is the arbiter of perception and reality? They go here, I'm thinking. They don't say, I'm thinking. They say, I'm thinking. Now, this body language is telling you where the information, thus perception, is actually coming from. So the heart connects us with an expanded level of awareness, which knows. And, you know, it's connecting us with a level of awareness that is beyond human language. Human language is a way for the head sense of reality within the limited perceptions of human society to communicate. Whereas the heart doesn't need words. It just knows. What happens with the head, which doesn't work on knowing, it works on thinking, trying to work it out. So the reaction of the head to I just know is, well, why do you know? Explain to me. And it starts to see this list of reasons why what you know to do shouldn't happen. Because this is trying to work something out. Because it doesn't know, and this does know, and thus it does need to work it out. And so when you start to go with your intuitive knowing and let the head become the servant of the heart instead of the governor, then your life changes dramatically. Mine did anyway, because now you are being guided by a level of awareness that is able to see from a perspective beyond this manipulated world of manipulated perception, whereas the head is in the world and of the world. And so its information, giving its perception, is all coming from the world that it's occupying. It has no other radar to see what it's processing and the perceptions that it's coming to as a result. It's not able to see the context and the perspective from a greater point of observation as the heart.
When I've, over the years, investigated and followed through major people involved in pushing the direction of the world, I have found three absolutely repeating themes with them. One, secret societies. Two, Satanism. 3, very topical at the moment, pedophilia. And they connect together in reasons I'll come to. Now, this is Bohemian Grove in Northern California, where the high and mighty elite in politics, banking and business and all the rest of it in America and wider afield go to this summer camp at Bohemian Grove in Northern California, and they worship under a 40-foot stone owl, symbolic of an ancient deity called Moloch, and they do sacrifices and stuff in smaller areas in this great area of Bohemian Grove, 2,700 acres of redwood forest. And all these people like the Bushes and the Clinton and the Rockefellers and all this Kissinger and all these people go along, and people come from abroad as well. And we're seeing Satanism more and more pushed and infiltrated into human society to become more and more acceptable. This Lady Bloody Gaga, crikey, her mother must have been psychic, pushing the old, Satanism, blood stuff. I'm not saying, Annie Lennox is into all this stuff, but what I'm saying is that the ceremonies of at the Olympics, the opening and closing ceremonies and stuff, was, if you know what you're looking for, was incredibly satanic in its symbolism, some of which I'll get to. Then you've got this Twilight series. Let's make vampires kind of sexy now. Then you have the Harry Potter thing. I mean, one of the Harry Potter books was called The Half-Blood Prince. Spot on, that's what it's about. And Slytherin House and all this stuff. And all this esoteric occult stuff going into the young mind on a massive level. This is all done on purpose. And what are we coming up to it now? Halloween, when I was a kid, just passed you by. Now it's this great festival where they're bringing kids into it. Oh, it's Halloween, trick and treat, all that stuff. And they're making it a kind of mini bloody Christmas. Very much connects into Satanism. Because, as I mentioned, these entities outside of human sight, they feed off human energy. It's one of their power sources. But it's a particular human energy. It's a very simple frequency physics situation. If you are within a certain frequency band yourself, you are only going to absorb energy within that frequency band. Anything outside that frequency band is going to go through you like radio stations go through radio stations. Thus, you need to generate energy within a frequency band that you can absorb. What is the frequency band in human terms of these entities? Low vibrational human emotion around the basic state of fear. And so they're generating human fear, anxiety, frustration, anger, hatred, all of it, because it's generating the energy that they absorb, their life force in so many ways. In the Matrix, they had the machines symbolically feeding off human energy. That's what these entities do.